Hey everyone, it's Chris here. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about two of the most common types of shoes for hiking, boots and trail runners. Tell you what I think about each type and my experience with them and what I'm planning to use in 2020. So about halfway through last year in 2018, I went and bought a new pair of hiking boots, and they are the Salomon Quest Prime GTX. They're a Gore-Tex pair of boots. That means that they've got waterproofing in them. Now, my experience with them all the way through has been really good. They've been a very comfortable shoe to hike in, and they've just been really solid, and I've pretty much used them on all of the multi-day hikes that I've done ever since I did a hike at Wilson's Prom towards the end of last year, and the longest hike that I did with them was on the Overland Track early this year. Now that particular hike really tested them out because it was obviously wet the whole week and it was snowing as well. So they did stay dry for the first day. By the second day, because there was just so much rain, I actually got watered down from the top of the boot, and from then on the boots just stayed wet because it was such a wet week. That was one of the issues with them, was that it was just really impossible to dry them out because of the conditions. And even in the warmer weather, once I got back, they still took a few days to dry out. So that's one of the issues with the boots. They're good up until they get wet, and then they just take a really long time to dry out. So as I said, they've been really good all the way through up until the last hike that I did just a couple of weeks ago on the Falls to Hotham Alpine Crossing. So what happened there is, I think what started to happen now with the boots is that they've started to give a little bit, and the support, the arch support through here, I think has actually started to give a little bit. And so I found what was happening is that my foot wasn't actually staying firm in the boot, and as a result, because we were hiking up and down mountains a lot on that particular hike, my foot was actually just starting to basically just hit the front of the toe box, and that was over about 40 kilometers. I ended up getting bruised and blistered toes, or under the toenails actually. So that was pretty uncomfortable partway through the second day and the third day. And it was the first real problem I'd had with the boots actually. Up until then they'd been really flawless and very comfortable. So that's kind of made me a little bit concerned about using them again. I don't know if it's just because of the boots having given out a little bit, or if it's just because the weather was a little bit warmer, so perhaps my feet had swollen a bit more. Don't know what the exact cause is. But it definitely made me kind of think about whether that's going to be the ongoing choice of shoe for me. Now, if you've been watching along on my channel, you probably saw and remember that I bought my first pair of trail runners a few months ago. They are the Ultra Lone Peak 4.0s, and I've been using them so far just for day hikes at the moment. I haven't actually taken them out on any multi-day or overnight hikes. So I've just been sort of testing them out over the day hikes, and what do I think of them? Well, I've got to say I absolutely love them. They are just such a comfortable shoe. It's a real difference to wearing a hiking boot. There's a few sort of different features of this which I'll just quickly sort of talk to you guys about. The first thing is the actual weight of the shoe. It's just so much lighter than a hiking boot, and you really just feel like you can move so much faster in them. So it's just a really different feel as you're walking along. So I really like that, how that feels on your foot when you're moving along the trail. One of the first things I really noticed about putting these on and just getting a feel for them was the way that Ultra actually designs their toe boxes. They've got this really wide toe box. So effectively what happens is, rather than most shoes where your toes are all sitting together, these shoes allow your toes just to naturally splay and sort of sit in their natural position. So it just is such a comfortable feeling, and you've just got a heap of room for your toes in there, and just the ventilation that you've got around the shoe as well just feels really nice. It's just got a lot more breathability than the hiking boots that I have, and you just really feel that on your feet. It just helps to keep them nicely sort of ventilated and keep the sweat down, I guess. The other thing about Ultras is they have what they call a zero drop, and you might have seen this if you've sort of been looking into Ultra shoes before, but basically it just means that there's no drop between the heel and the toe. Most sneakers have that in them, they've usually got a few millimeters of drop between. These just run flat all the way through. So look, I have to say, I didn't really notice a huge difference when I first tried them on in terms of the zero drop. There wasn't a huge sort of difference in the feeling to another shoe, but the overall comfort that I get out of the shoe, I'm sure that's probably contributing to it. The other thing I really love about these is the grip on the bottom. It's just the grip is just amazing. It really just feels like you can move over most surfaces and just feel confident that you're not going to have any sort of slipping occurring. Definitely on the day hikes that I've done, if there was trails where I've just sort of had rocks and stuff along the trail and, been able to really just kind of feel like I'm kind of skipping over them. It's really good. They've got these little things here called trail claws. So it's just extra sort of grip on the bottom of the sole. I've got to say, these just feel amazing on all different types of surfaces. I haven't really worn them in really wet, slippery conditions yet, so I can't really comment on what they're like in those conditions, but the way that I've tested them out so far has been really good. What I really want to do next is test these out, taking them out on a multi-day hike, because I'm obviously going to be carrying a lot more weight on that type of hike, and just sort of see how they perform on that sort of a hike. So that'll be the next thing for these. My next hike that I've got coming up, I'm definitely going to plan to take these ones out and see how they go. So I guess the big question is, which of them do I prefer, and what am I going to continue using in 2020? Well, if you had have asked me that question a few weeks ago, I probably would have said that I still see a place for both types of shoes. Generally, my go-to for multi-day hikes was to wear boots, and more so on day hikes, I'd just be wearing trail runners. I'm now leaning towards, without having tried using the trail runners yet for a longer hike, I am definitely leaning towards that, just based on the level of comfort that I've felt wearing those on the last few hikes that I've done in them, and the issue that I just recently had with my boots where I ended up with the bruised toes. So I got to say, I think if these work well on longer hikes for me, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be making a definite lean towards going with the trail runners as my go-to shoe from here on. So what type of shoes do you prefer wearing when you go hiking? Are you a boots person, or do you like getting out in a pair of trail runners? Leave a comment down below, and if you like this video, hit the like button. And if you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet to my channel and you're enjoying watching along, hit the subscribe button. And I look forward to seeing you guys out on the trail next time.